Keep waking up to BF 30 meters, having sex with me, 24F 1.5 years.
My boyfriend has this thing he calls sleep seducing, where he'll often wake up in the middle of the night really horny and start fingering me, which quickly leads to sex. We've had many conversations about it and I told him I'm very cool with it.
Usually,
I love it.
the fingering usually wakes me up and I quickly get in the mood. Lately,
I've been really tired in the past few nights. I've been waking up during sex
with no recollection of how it started.
This morning, my boyfriend said I could tell you were out of it because I fingered you for 5 minutes and you
weren't wet at all.
So I just used my spit. I'm not claiming sexual assault by any means. And I want my BF to keep sleep seducing me.
But I want to be aware of what's going on before he starts fucking me. I'm fine with him fingering me. And in the past, if I haven't woken up or haven't visibly been into it, he'd stop and go back to sleep.
But the last few nights, he's just been going for sex without me being awake and aware.
Which kind of bugs me. What's the best way to talk to him about this?
Edit.
Was not prepared for all of the support.
Thank you to everyone that has taken time to comment. I appreciate every single one of you.
I'm going to sit down and let him know that I love being fingered while I'm asleep and am okay with it, but for both of us to get the most enjoyment out of the situation, he needs to make sure I'm awake and aware of what's going on before escalating to sex. Otherwise it crosses a boundary.
You just have to be exceptionally clear about it.
Tell him that unless you actually become responsive, it is absolutely not cool to proceed. Yeah, boundaries need to be set. If you don't fully wake up, it's a no, and he shouldn't be trying to
carry on. Also, this topic has come up before and I remember seeing some advice about putting something on the
bedside table to say it was okay that night, or letting your partner know if it's okay that night.
You could say,
I want you to keep sleep seducing me,
but I want to be aware of what's going on before you start fucking me.
The best way is to tell him you need to talk to him about something and be as clear. Tell him that you want to be intimate with him and all, but it has to be when both of us are in the mood.
And same goes for him.
Yeah.
Just tell him clearly, I love partners initiating with me
when I'm asleep.
But a lot of people are absolutely not okay with that.
And that's okay.
Just set your boundaries wherever they need to be, and clearly communicate it with your boo.
And he really should not be doing this.
I know that you're a fan of what you call sleep seducing, but that's not the same as this. And him not knowing better is concerning. I'd also strongly suggest establishing a system where you can indicate your lucidity.
I talk in my sleep, and those liminal spaces are weird.
You may mumble something,
which he could interpret as a green light, even though you're not actually awake. Or you could be just lucid enough to consent and then drift off.
I'd talk through possibilities and check for understanding,
to make sure you're speaking the same language.
Head off miscommunication with crystal clear guidelines. Work through any hiccups with patience. And on the real,
send him some resources about consent.
He's way too comfy.
Given that he doesn't actually know what you want, and he's not doing the work to navigate that carefully.
You have to check in at every action.
And even that isn't foolproof. He's a few steps behind. The best way to talk to him is the direct way.
It isn't rocket science.
Tell him sex is a no-go if you are asleep and do not respond. It should be unacceptable for him to fuck your unconscious body. Sleep seducing is one thing. Using your body without you actively being involved seems very callous and demeaning.
Frankly,
these situations may be construed as a form of rape or sexual assault.
Regardless,
Make it clear what the boundaries are for you.
If he doesn't like that,
reconsider the relationship. Tell him exactly this and why it's bugging you.
Set boundaries. That can be called non-consensual sex. Maybe you need like a reverse safe word.
Unless he hears that word, he shouldn't progress from fingering to actual sex. Edited for stupid auto-correct Blunber. Share this post. It seems to include everything like him to know.
Boundaries flushed.
It really creeps me out that he enjoys fucking you while you're asleep and lifeless. Sleep seducing is too risky in my opinion. It's on the lines of sexual assault and kink. I've had a girl tell me she liked it,
then turned around and say she didn't like it and guilt trip me. So,
now I just never do it because I'm not dealing with the mental stress of when I should do it or not.
I have lost all faith in humanity.
Have you told him how to approach the situation?
You like the sleep seducing in his approach, but don't like it when you don't wake up for sex.
He took an action which, with your consent,
is acceptable, but since you decided you don't like sex if you don't wake up.
Have you told him what he's supposed to do in that scenario?
Waking someone up with sexual acts is already a pretty gray area.
Someone else can be saying the same thing but with fingering. Some people feel assaulted. Others dream about it happening. Most people suck at communicating.
It's really a situation where people shouldn't be reading minds, and if you just flat out say, "I
didn't like that," and leave it up to him reading your mind or guessing,
he's probably just going to play it safe and stop. I think you should give him options of how you feel good proceeding forward so he knows what to do, rather than trying to read your mind while you sleep.
There are other ways to wake you up. He could kiss you, talk in your ear, suck on your nipples, etc.
I think it's kind of weird that he jumps right in when you're asleep. He should make more of an effort to wake you up, and you shouldn't feel bad for asking. Maybe tell him how much you enjoy it so you actually want to be conscious for it.
It sounds funny, but it's the truth. That's rape.
He knew you weren't awake and weren't into it and forced himself inside you. That is rape.
He didn't care that you were unconscious. That is rape.
He doesn't care that he has no consent and doesn't care how you feel.
Your BF is a rapist that neither respects or values you.
www.rain.org.
Please get some support and get away from this creepy predator. Sue, he is a rapist.
This is rape. People in this forum will tell you to leave your partner if she sexts somebody, but will tell you
to gently tell your partner to stop using you like a plastic doll at night.
He's raping you.
That's why it bothers you.
Marital rape is defined as any unwanted sexual penetration,
vaginal,
anal, or oral, or contact with the genitals that is the result of actual or threatened physical force, or when a woman is unable to give affirmative consent. https www.google.fr/amp/the-psychology-today.com/blog/the-compassion-chronicles/202003/intimate-part NER sexual assault %3 FAMP 100% rape, and I'll tell you why.
Big red flag.
In the past, if I haven't woken up or haven't visibly been into it,
he'd stop and go back to sleep. But the last few nights, he's just been going for sex without me being awake and aware.
Which kinda bugs me. He stopped in the past because he knew it was wrong. He knows your boundary loud and clear.
Look, you only ever consented to being fingered while you're asleep. You're upset because he crossed a boundary, and it's clear as day. It's perfectly normal to be upset.
Sounds to me like your consent to sex with sleep seducing was only inferred if you wake up after he fingers you. You didn't wake up and yet he still
repeatedly
chose to engage in sex with you while you were asleep.
It's clear as day.
He raped you. Very simple.
I get we all have out kinks, but to me it's definitely assault, as he should be extra careful, sensitive to boundaries and nuisances of sexual play with a partner who is sleeping. Keeping in mind you never gave him consent to more than fingering while asleep. I think the BDSM community would agree. Very troubling.
I couldn't be with a partner who doesn't think about these things and prioritizes his own sexual
needs over respecting your needs for boundaries, safety. No way.
Also, I know that you said it keeps happening and you probably think that it's your fault for not telling him to stop. It's not your fault.
It's also not your fault for not expressing your boundaries clearly, like other Redditors seem to think. The boundaries were always clear.
Consent was only to fingering.
Also, if the boundaries were not clear in his head, because
again, the boundaries were actually clear, then he shouldn't have repeatedly had chosen to have sex with you while asleep. He should have clarified this another time while you were awake, while you don't feel pressured to give him consent.
Not chosen to use you and objectify you without clear consent. For what it's worth, it's also normal to feel frozen in the days after it happened, as your mind is
trying to make sense of what happened. It's normal not to feel like you could tell him to stop, not let it happen again after the first
time. You're in shock, and no, it does not imply consent. That's why enthusiastic consent is important. The main point is that one time was too much, it's assault.
Your partner is supposed to value your safety and boundaries.
He doesn't. He knows exactly what he is doing. It was his responsibility to wait and clarify things if he was unsure of your boundaries, not use your body for his desires without consideration for your well-being.
Throw him out and tell your friends to look out for you.
And that you want nothing to do with him. Ghost him if you have to, you don't owe him an explanation. Do whatever you need to do to block him on your phone and social media. Don't accept apologies, gaslighting, or love bombing. His bad behaviors are only going to escalate in and outside the bedroom.
He knows exactly what he is doing.
What he did was not normal and reeks of manipulation. Please tell someone you love, friend, family,
parents, someone, and get the help and support you need.
There's no shame in having been assaulted. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 5 males are sexually abused in their lifetime.
Not talking about it only isolates you and makes you feel alone. Please get counseling. Most communities offer free counseling to victims of sexual violence.
If you're unsure where to find counseling, ask your doctor.
Also, if you choose to report, don't wash yourself and get a rape kit from your local hospital ASAP.
Save your clothes in a paper bag.
It's important it's paper, as plastic destroys evidence.
Just because he is your partner, it doesn't mean he's allowed to rape you. I'm truly sorry it's happened to you. Sending much love and care.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.